Okay, this is on Bristol board. First of all, hello everyone. I'm doing a kind of a last minute decision here on finishing up this Lioness painting. I have a Facebook Live I have to do tomorrow, and I don't think there's enough here for that whole time. I'm not sure, but anyway, this is just for anybody that's going to see this later. This is Bristol board, India ink, which would be these light mixtures, dark mixture, that's full blast black, and then we have medium. Okay, so you do it in order. You start with the light, you go to the medium, and you work the dark in later. Okay, so I kind of advertised this at the last minute on a TV guide channel for YouTube, for Facebook on Facebook. It's a new channel that you can advertise on. So anyway, I sharpened this with, I don't sharpen it that often with the sharpener, but I need to get in there. So I decided to make a good point on here so that we work on the, let's say the whiskers in here. You can pop out with the aggressive eraser certain things that need to be popped out. And so I'll be working a little more on the background. I'll be working on, I guess you might say the final details, along with possibly painting the eyes color, like the true color of. That's why I left these so stark, so white, because I haven't made that decision yet. Okay. So I'm just going to go around, and I even am using a little bit of graphite. Just have to get a tissue for blending it, and I left that in the other room, so hold on. Okay, so I will be using some graphite, and you can do that on the Bristol board. You can, because the ink sprayed over it or near it really matches it nice, except sometimes the graphite will shine, so then you would want to use your blending stump, and you'd want to, soften it, circular motions, and a lot of the glare goes away. And if it doesn't, I'll be spraying this in the end with a clear satin finish. All right, so you can put little details in. This has a tortillon, and it already has, graphite on it. So I could go in here and start to either take the airbrush and go into these areas and start to darken little areas within, like that. Okay. Well, that's all right. Is that you, Fred? If that's you, Fred, let me know. It was a very last minute decision, so I don't expect really, plus there's a bunch of other live feeds on Facebook right now, so I'm not too worried about having a crowd. This will be up on my channel. I'm concerned about finishing this because I have to get it done. So let's see. So Fred Stewart, If you're watching, let me know. Who's watching? Whoever it is, can you let me know? And make sure that the audio is good. So I'm taking out the light mixture here, and I'm outlining the lioness's highlight on the edge of her face. It's all the way around. Put up here a little bit. Yeah, it goes all the way around, breaks up a little bit in there. And it's here, it's a little fatter. Gives it a little more cool looking. Okay, so highlight on the ear. It's just a little bit of back and forth stuff right now, just to get this. And I will be airbrushing. I'll be doing some light spraying. But right now, I'm just picking out highlights that I see. The aggressive eraser, you gotta be careful. You know, because it could be, let's see what we got here. Well, I guess I'm the only one watching, kind of. Let me see what those, bringing up those, kind of like the eyes white like that, gives it an empty soul's predator look. And no, this isn't freaking. Okay, well, they're cool like that, but the color version, this is up to the new owner of the picture, the one that's going, this is going from the United States to the UK to hang on a good friend's wall. Okay, so there's color, and there is the color of the cat's eyes, and it's, you know, the typical brown and brown gold colors. So I'm just going to get in here and pick out some things that need to be, if you have to make something fatter like that whisker, let me get down in there and zoom. Okay, that's all right. I hate autocorrect. I hate it. It changes your words and you don't even know it. Okay, so there's the bearded area. And if I go real careful, I can pop out a few individual, but you can see that it's subtle. You know, if you look at this version, the print, it's very subtle. You can hardly see those little whiskers, or they're not even really whiskers. I don't know what they are, but they're in the chin beard, whatever you want to call that. So this is real bright in here. So I'm just kind of digging in with the aggressive eraser. And then I'm going to pop out some whiskers there, like a dagger stroke. There's a long one here. Okay, so like I said, the stuff I'm doing right here is subtle, very subtle. I see a highlight right here. Got to bust it in. It's kind of circular. It's right in the black part of the mouth. Right there. So it's coming out, but it's not coming out. So I'll use my, I sharpened this aggressive eraser on the sandpaper. So I went like this. I know this is acting up, so I gotta be careful. Fred, how are you? So that's how I did that. Okay, just a nice point for making texture. Pretty good sandpaper too. I mean, it's for the kind for wood. All right, Fred, I need to know if you would like black and white eyes or eyes that are in color to set this off differently. That's up to you. So I can either go with the traditional look of what she is, or I could put color in the eyes. So let me know, all right? Because I want to do that tonight. So this just helps get, there's subtle erasers you want to use, and then there's the real harsh. And this has a nice point on it, so I can pull a dagger stroke there. And where else here? Let's see. A bunch of them kind of in here. So. They kind of wiggled a little bit. I don't want that. You know, like the whole thing just kind of wiggles. So I might have to use the freehand thing, but I can spray around that, so it's not a problem. Oh yeah, over here. Little mark inside. Aggressive eraser. Even in here, a little lighter area in the black. And some noise up in here. That I'll spray around, you know, to get that to be nice. This is more detailing, you know. If you ever want to see the real early stages, you can go on my Facebook page and watch the live feeds that I did there that are on Bill Sneggin, my personal page. Try to remember to put a link down below. If not, just write my name down, Snegon, and just go on my personal page and you'll find it. So, the more detail, I'm sorry guys, I gotta aim it where, I gotta zoom out. There we go. Yeah, this is where you put the life in it the best you can. Of course, it's for you, Fred, so I'll just do so for you. You know, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm only kidding. Boy. Yeah, so I'm kind of scratching away and making shapes that I see inside the ear. And it's got all kinds of noise and visual. I call it visual noise, where you can just make a lot of, that's pretty much got to come out a little bit here. Make that a little bit more. Just texture and stuff will help it along. I am looking to get the new reflex. I think it's called, oh gosh, I forget the name. It's a board over by, you can get it at Marissa Foxy Studios. It's a really nice illustration board that has super bright whites, doesn't leave a shine when you erase, can take a real beating, and it's illustration board. It's the thicker, this is just Bristol board. I'm looking forward to trying that because I saw a demo, saw a number of demos, different artists, Andy Caddick, I think, and they both raved about it. So I usually use clayboard, not for my inks though, too much. I'm doing circles here as I kind of come in, circular erasing. Now I'm going to pop out, I'll zoom in on the snout, on her snout right there. I'm just going to take, okay, I'm going to just take, this is broken, so I have to press the button. Let me get that in. See, it's nothing working. So I push the compartment, pushes the batteries in. I got to get a new one, but I could still do it. You know. Now, there's other ways to get texture on here, but this really works good for what I'm looking for, the little soft little marks in, and they can be a little harsh like that, but like, for example, there's graphite right here in the nostril. Watch, you just put it right over it, knock it back. You can do that with the airbrush, you can do it with anything. I'm gonna clean up the eyes just a little bit more. Get that ready for some color. Did you answer me, Fred, on if you want color for the eyes or black and white? I need to know. You might have answered me, but I didn't see it. Here I'm just getting rid of some where the ink kind of spidered out on me in some spots. And I know it's a little harsh there, but I'm going to spray over it and stuff. So I could take a nice sharp, so I'll take my sharpener. And I'm trying to get a really good point. I know you could whittle it. I don't want it to make it to the point where it's so wiggly it's going to break. And then I'm going to come in here. He said yes, he wants color and leave it in your hands. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that'll be good. These will be like a brownish golden color, I guess. All right. So I'm just doing a little more circles, but I should, while I got the point, I should go after some of the whiskers that are here. I could see the drawing. These are subtle. They're not like jumping off the canvas, so I'm not using any white paint. I'm turning this in a circular motion as I go so that it keeps the point kind of, because like I said, they're very subtle. They're not like white paint. They're just there, and I can get close to them with, let's see, I got one coming right here, cutting through that one. I could always spray up and around them too to make them stand out more and sharpen them up. This one up here, okay, so get rid of the dirt on the tip, and this starts right here, and I'm going to kind of pull it to a dagger stroke. There we go. I could zoom in a little bit. Man, the zoom is so hard to control. There we go. Okay. A dial on it. Do you really? 1 to 5, and if you put it on eraser so sharp, short, like when you get them new. Okay. Maybe you could show me a picture of that. Send it to me in Messenger. I'd like to see it. Sounds cool. Okay. Let's see. All right, this baby's going across the pond. Getting closer to Africa, at least, to where maybe she lived. I don't know. It was a free download image that I got off of a website that promised me I could use it. I could sell it, I could give it away, I could do whatever I want with it. And there's no artist, photographer for me to give credit to on this one because it didn't have a name. It was just there as a free download, which was great because I don't get to take pictures of lions. Not too many of us do, right? Okay, so I'm picking out the highlights and gonna tighten that up. So I could tighten that. This is a sliver that is much more moon-like shape, a little sliver like a kind of a crescent moon. And my area is a little big. So I've got the tissues that I went out to get, and I got my finger inside the tissue like that. I've got a little bit of lead, graphite in there that has the letter H on it, and I do believe that was meaning like a 2H. I just lost it all in the drawer. That's all right, it's still there. So that means I can kind of push this up like that. And because it's so easy to erase, I can form that now better and still have that gray around it. A little dagger stroke there, get a little bit of carried away, and also knock it back into the picture a little bit because it's not jumping out of the picture. I'm just taking out some color here, black and white, obviously. Putting in some lines, and it's all details at this point. So let's go over by the fur. Now, let's see if we can focus on this area. Okay, so this is lit up here, and it goes up into here. That might be a job for my pointed one. Probably should have this. Sometimes, though, the whatchamacallit erasers are good. The number 2 pencils, these guys, they're good if you have the right chisel on it because they have friction on it. That might help me erase more. Yeah, get it out of there like that. That's better, but it's softer, so it's not going to. So this needs a little more visual. Should use the tissue. Visual, you could just dirty it up in here. I could spray it. It's a little easier at this stage to use the graphite because of the erasing. So like that one whisker right here, we could just kind of rip right through here and here, and then clean this up a little bit all the way up to the whisker, and the whisker almost disappears into the same white area. They're all crisscrossing each other. All right, so as long as I got a good edge there, that's too big, but I can always go back over it. I don't see any whiskers coming off this side, except for some baby ones in here. So put a little more. The only way it's going to show up is to have more, You'd probably say, hey, where's the airbrush? And it's like, well, it's coming up soon because I'm surely not going to do the background like this. Okay, so here, 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 and here. They're a little fatter, but they're working. Okay, I can lighten up some areas here with some circular erasing. Whoops, I got to get that up higher and unzoom it. Unzoom it, Bill. How do you do that? Okay. So I'm going to kind of just do a little light circular erasing, taking out areas that, not trying to put detail in, I'm just trying to put some light areas in. Right here, up in here, that's already light, but then there's a little bit of tone on there. There's a little bit of tone on there. It knocks it back into the picture. Maybe even a little more. So it's 2 different mediums that I'm using that really is fun to work with. All of it's airbrushed with the ink until tonight. I don't think I used any graphite on it. I just felt like, being that it matches it dead on, I felt like helping myself a little bit. Sorry, it's a little bit low there. All right. So, got this nice bright area over here. Oh yeah, we were going to look at this area still. So this comes right down into there, this light, super white highlight, and it goes gray, and eventually, and it has little things. Remember, we were going to put right here. It's got a big fat. It's not a whisker. It's just the shapes and stuff. See how easy you can get those marks? Then you just knock it back, and it's just kind of light fur that's kind of sweeping out, fat at the bottom, and you just knock it back in, and then pick out the highlights around the mouth, around here, pressing pretty hard, popping that out. Pop this out a little bit. It's getting a little harsh there, so I'm going to go to a round tip eraser that's still soft. Let's see. Brand name is Stedler. I'm cleaning it off on the piece of paper on the sideline. This erase is pretty good, but because it's so fat, I can kind of, as I get into areas, press lighter and lighter and lighter, and kind of get that airbrush kind of look. Blend that down, blend that up. All right. So we got some highlights going on, stronger highlight there, better eraser. Some of this can come in this way, breaks up that line a little bit, and maybe a little more here. There we go. Now that's all kind of less like eraser marks, you know. It's more like it's supposed to be. Okay. These are lighter in here. Overall, darks and lights all over the place. Kind of a line going this way. Oops, sorry about the shaking there. Up here a little bit. Okay. Over here, I'm going to just, you'll see the light areas just pop out a little bit more, not a lot, just a little bit. And if they do get too bright, I know what to do with them. It's kind of like matted, the hair. It's not matted like mange or some kind of disease. It's just clusters of darkness that are around. So now in there I can go in and I can start going around the dark shapes like that, pressing, pushing it around. Let's see, find a shape here. And it gives it kind of a cool look that I'm looking at, you know. Just not sharp hairs, just clusters, I guess you would call it. Okay, I'm going to look at it a little bit for a minute. So yeah, like when you're using an area that's already, whoops, stopped it from rolling, then my hand pulled away and hit it anyway. Okay, where's my blender? So yeah, when you get in here and you've got a little darker area right here, you can just dip it into your powdered shavings. That was your area that powdered shavings of graphite just in here. I can get closer to the actual whisker that I was putting in. Get underneath it, get around it, and it starts to get a little skinnier and shaped like I sprayed it through a stencil. Okay. There might be a few things I do offs I'll do later, and there'll be minor things. So here you got that, and then you just do little circles, and that captures this area. See, now that's real dark here, so let's see if we can get the pencil, just to show you what you can do with the pencil. So I'm going to just draw that in like that. I'm going to just kind of put the darkness in the bottom of that shape because it goes to a lighter version. And then I'm going to take the blender and I'm going to crush it into the paper. And you get that darker area. Is it dark enough? No, it can be real dark. That would be more like a 8B pencil. Okay, it's still not dark enough, so I'm going to go to the ink for that. Okay. Okay. Sam, how you doing? Yeah. Right now, Bat Guy's just going to go over the messenger and hit up a few folks to let them know. Well. Okay, so I've got that going on. I'm going to get the medium mixture out now. This will be airbrushing. I'm going to shake it. You can get these inks from Timothy John, Luke Smith. Go on his page on Facebook called Ink Flingers, and you can get in touch with him there. He has a website. So I would just recommend, from what I know right now, is Ink Flingers or Timothy's page himself and message him. And I'm just going to add have my micron. Try not to spill on the painting like I've been famous for doing. Okay, so I'm going to go to the background now. I'll be pulling this all the way out. Whoops. Yeah, that's as far out as we go. So you can see the background, but it's mainly that you want to watch this as opposed to that. So air's on. Let's see, micron, custom micron. It's a medium mixture. It's not black. And these are out of focus branches, or probably more, I would say, maybe greenery in the background. The color version has that. And there, even some areas, like it's dark, like maybe right here, it might be a little darker just for a second, like as it turns, like that. Let's get up a little higher. And this makes this image become more sharper. So I could take probably the shield, which is a French curve. You can get this from Drew Blair's School of Realism. And I'm just going to protect that white area that really looks cool. See, it's separated. I want to have a little bit of darkness here too on the side, but it's very subtle, like there. Now the white's really jumping off. You can see that. Okay, so now we're going to go and just find shapes right here in this darkness, right around. There's a lot of circular highlights. And that kind of stuff going on. You just got to pick where you want to hit a little dark and where you want to hit lighter areas, like it's dark in here, but not super dark. It's here, but then there's a little bit of erasing right here. That creates a highlight right by her head. Okay. I can knock back the super white starkness with the medium mixture. Subtle. It's very subtle. Down here, we want to go like that. It's all subtleties at this point. This is a little bit too edgy right here. So I'm going to try to take that out right here by going circular and killing the line a little bit. That's what they would teach you with the drawing, especially Disney. They would say, hide the line, kill the line, get rid of the line. The line stops and the color takes over. So let's see, we've got a little bit of a line here, and then we've got a nice dot right here. Okay, then we've got a little hit on them. They have graphite on them right now to deepen them. Might not go too good with the medium mixture for that, but okay, so we got some. Okay, I'm going to tint over the snout a little bit, knocking some of those textures into the picture. They're very subtle. It's almost like when you've seen it in photographs. The lions have a lot of tight little hairs in here that are just, little, almost like little white dots and little gray dots. We put some of the gray ones in with the airbrush. Move them around so they don't get too, you don't want them to look like it was just too many of them, Okay, over to the gray, over in here. The whole area in this cheek is grayer. So I'm just going to mist over it from far away, even over here. There are some soft areas, and I even see a few like dagger stroke kind of hairs that I could kind of put in. You can put them here and there, and they start to make you really see it as if it's everywhere. This kind of has a little edginess to it right here. Don't want to get too dark. There's a shape here, and there's a shape here. Soft markings on her face, Okay, knock that little highlight back down. Knocking the whiskers into a smaller area. Okay. Yeah, she's getting all those, maybe even from being in battles. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the gray. And I'm going to go back to the g It's like sculpting, you know? Just think of it that way. Now, is that highlight, this highlight here is not all that bright. So I'm gonna hit it one time. Not the whole highlight, just the outer part. And then there's this line here. Lots of things like that going on. Over here, there's some little guys that are near that highlight. And then I'm going to knock this whole area back into the picture a little bit till my eye says I like that. You know, then it's time to stop. Okay, so we got this will jump out more if I kind of darken that around it. And then out here, I don't know if anybody's saying anything, so let me just check. Yeah, Tim is his grade teacher. He knows so much about art to begin with, the history of art. I do miss a lot of feeds because I got my own things that are, well, they're not on the same day, but I can't watch all the feeds. You know, they're all great, but some of them you just can't get to. Got a lot, you know, other things to do. Or you can watch them later. All right, without getting too, I don't want to get too much line work. I want to just get gray tones and things like that. And then stop, look at it. Here it gets darker right in here. And then stop and look at it again. As Tim would say, 1 second rule. Which is so true. It's pretty dark there. One thing that's nice about the airbrush, it's so soft and subtle. Yeah, this is making me happier now because when I was looking at that, this has pencil lines on it from putting the trace down. And all of a sudden I looked over here and it was what I was trying to achieve, a little gray tone on that highlight area. And now I can get into some little tiny areas. There we go. That's looking matted looking. And then you got to be careful you don't go too far, you know, getting all kinds of ahead of yourself. So there's still a highlight there. There's a super highlight there. A couple little baby ones in the white area. gives it a little more look. Over here, gray tone, black. The black is already established, so it's popping it out. And darker tones in the ear. That's going to be some black there. And this just kind of comes out and down right here. And then it fills in. Pretty dark here. And then all in here is kind of darker. Yeah. Probably knock some of these whites back a little bit. Just a little. Can you see that down there? Very white right in here, stark white, you know. And it goes around. Sorry, hold that camera. Take that out. That's kind of what it's doing. I'm just kind of mimicking it. Yeah. Nice highlight over there, as you can see. Maybe this could be broken up a little bit with some. This hair's just sometimes you just got to put in your own. You know, just go real fast and you'll do better. Little graphite around the mouth that I can erase easier. And down in here, and we're going to put a little tone in here. And then it has this final section that goes like this, except it's not coming out. there we have a lot of it moving along. You can see down in here, I don't have enough shading, so I'll do that. Like that, and then wiggly kind of dark there, and a little bit fuller here. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's just abstract. That's all the edges are. I'm just looking and studying it, just like you guys are from watching it. Feather stroke, dagger stroke, whatever you want to call it. Probably a feather stroke. Okay. And that goes right up into here. Now I gotta get into here. Up in here, a little bit more tone. Okay, I don't want to get too much darker because I could lose it. Okay, so now golden eyes. A little more texture on this part here. There we go. Right here, there's all kinds of goodies right here. Oh, keep seeing things down here. Okay. Now it's time for color in the eyes. Hopefully I will like it. If not, I'm in trouble. Knock those back in a little bit. There. Okay. Can always go back in detail a little tiny here and there afterwards. Okay, that gets lightened a little bit more. And this has a little more gray tone in it right here with some erasing in it. Okay, so just want to see something here. A little bigger area here. And outside of it. And around the ear, a little bit. Looks kind of cool to have that. Okay, gotta go in after that later. Be careful with this aggressive eraser. It can be a problem. It does go around this one too, so I'll just give it a 1-2 right here. Some visual noise inside of here. Swirling hairs. Whoops, that was the wooden part of the pencil, which I gotta just spray over that. Knock that back for now. Okay. So, color picture, where is it? There's the color picture. There's what you're seeing as far as the greenery and all that stuff. Okay. Yeah, I see even actually in the real color picture that this is really stronger right here. This is like a branch. Might make it look a little, the copier didn't pick it up as good. Might make it look a little more defined out here. Okay. A jungle look. Yeah, even this is darker down here. Why not? It's not going to be wrong. It's just going to be more information that I can work with. It's not in the color bit. Whoops, a little bit of too wet there. And then right here, I'll just kind of deepen that. Get some veins going in there. And right over here, it's darker. Yeah, that gives it more, a little more, less sketchy and more body of solidness. more filled in, you might say. Little dots and stuff. Okay. All right, so create text. Got to pull my cart over here that's on wheels and get my create text color. Let's see, how am I going to do this? I see orange. It's like a burnt sienna almost. It's maybe orange and sepia, or maybe burnt sienna and sepia. Give me a second to come up with a color. I'm going to try to keep it in the transparent world. What was that? Burnt umber. I don't want burnt umber. I want burnt sienna. I got all my little color cups on the side here. And the create text colors. Transparent. And I do have a little paintbrush that I use to get some mixtures going, deepen that. That saturation is actually, I'm seeing more of a, hold on a minute. I better be careful here. I'm gonna go for the oranges and the yellows first. So I'm gonna mix right on the board. If I don't like it, I'll erase it out. So I'll start with the yellow. Just a little bit. Now this is stark, so I gotta be careful here. I'm just gonna put a little. It's already got a gray tone on it from overspray, I guess, and things like that. Okay. I see a little orange, probably the burnt sienna would be better, but I'm going to try a little orange only because if I control the gun, I can put a whisper in before the burnt sienna gets in there and starts to hide it. Just towards the bottom a little bit. A little more. Looks alien now. Keep grabbing the burnt umber by accident. Okay, let's get a little bit of this burnt sienna. on, boy. Goes a long way. Ah. Sepia. So mixing it on the board, I guess you might say. Tempted to go color. Yeah. Now, let's get this turned down. I see a little ring. Doing a pupil with it. Okay, now I want to do a ring. Oops, hold on, guys. Look at my hands. That's a no-no. A little bit too alien plugged in. So just trying to get the color to change over. Okay. Okay, that's enough for now. All right, that was blue to knock the contrast back. So I've got color going out into an area that doesn't belong. Wrong eraser. Should erase right off. Might have to put the gray back in, but I don't want to go back in with the black around the eyes. I mean, you know, really dark. If I can't get the ink to pump up, I might go ahead and use the black Createx. Well, he's got color eyes no matter what now. There's a highlight and stuff. Sorry, I could zoom in a little more. Martial artistry. Yeah, I haven't been looking at the comments too much, so anyway. So we started with yellow, and we ended up with blue, yellow, orange right out of the bottle, and then some, whatchamacallit there, to knock the orange back. Oh yeah, a little burn umber. And then to knock the orange back, I used blue carefully right out of the bottle, just spraying it lightly. Okay. So now let's get the black into the gun. I am going to switch over to black by Createx. So I have the inks. I will give the inks a try. I mean, they just take longer, that's all. So, I mean, you can get really black with the inks. So I'll go to the inks first. And I already do have coatings down, so it's not like it won't get blacker, but it is, you know, more bordery and what have you, you know. 3 people on here. I gave everybody, I don't know how to advertise the live streams on YouTube. I'm new at it and I got to learn before I get all my YouTube subscribers frustrated. Like, hey, you were doing a live? I'm not going to do a lot of lives, I don't think, but I've got a lot to learn. Okay, so let's get that out of there and get that black in the gun. Now this is the darkest version of Tim's inks. Now he has professional labels now. This is professional ink, but when he was first starting to sell it, it was like trying to get it on the market, you know? And so he now has, I think, Ink Flingers as the logo, and it's a really nice label, and even different lids, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I've got the old school, same ink, different packaging. Gotta turn the air way down. Here we go. So I'm going to go back into areas like the nose. Let me go back to the black and white though, because the color is kind of not the greatest reference. So get, yeah, it's working good because, you know, you've got, of course, it would be nice if you could see it. So I'm going to darken everything that's already in there to that real black. That's actually his tongue right there. A little bit of his tongue action there. Hers. Okay, so the mouth is darker. Nose right here. This will cover some of the graphite, which is the nice thing. Like you can draw and then you can cover it. Yeah, gives it more punch. A little softer on the outside of this black. So I'm just going to blur that line a little outside. I guess we can go in a little closer just so you can see what I'm doing here. Oh man. There we go. A little shadow going across the corner of the eye here. Coloring the color that landed on the black. Very subtle, but it's there. Maybe a little shadow on the eye itself from a further distance. A little spherical right here. There we go. Okay, and right here on the eye, there's a little ring. Okay, a little gray tone on that white erased area where the color landed. And go back in here. You guys can't see that part, so there we go. We're just going back up in here and making some markings and hairs that are all twisted and tangled inside of her ear. Gives it more style. Okay, that helps. Got to go back over that when that dries. Over here it's darker, but it's not as dark. It's just got a little more right in there. Not much though. Okay, it's starting to come together now, hopefully. More like dots around here. This is fatter. All right, so, whoops, I can kind of see that a little more that way. All right, so this is the black now, so I'm deepening areas that need to be deepened a little bit. From a distance, so about an hour and a half into it. Far away, so putting some deepness into some of the wrinkles in his forehead, her forehead, that are there, but they're not all attached. This is more squared off. Okay, a couple more markings right here. Just a little bit. Probably about 20 pounds PSI. I moved it up a little bit for the color, you know, punched it up a little because I have the MAC valve. And this is all darker in here, just overall tint it down. A little more noise right in here, and that's it. I'm going to look at it. Okay, I'm going to step back from the overall picture after I see a few more things, right? Okay. Time to look at it from a distance. Squint my eyes, study it. I'll be staring at it more right in here, darker. Right in here, a little bit. I'm staring at the contrast and looking at my two pictures together. And I think for the sake of doing it on here, as far as I'm trying to see if there's any comments or anything. There we go. Okay. So is Fred still on here? He's in the UK. He could be sleeping. But he knows I was working on it, so that was the main thing. Yeah, we've got, let's see if I have a clean, probably don't. I need a clean blending stump. I'm going to try to punch up the highlights in the eyes with a blending stump and pastel. You get no problems with that. Except I need, okay, let me just wipe that off here. I don't have the fine pointed one, so I can't do anything about that as far as my pastel being a stick. I've got like a chalk type, but it's Rembrandt. Hey, honey, how you doing? Trying to get this is going to the UK over there to Fred Stewart, and I have a live feed tomorrow night, and I didn't think there was enough to do on my live feed, so I did this. And then I found out it's going pretty long anyway, so, so I could punch up highlights without a blue shift with the, little bit of, or erase out more. That's probably the safest bet, just to pop out more like highlights with a soft eraser, which this one's not. This is this would be more like broad strokes. Just looking for highlights inside these shapes. Probably the kneaded eraser would do the best to make them look. So I'll be tweaking it, but this is pretty much going to be it as far as any more videos. One more thing, I'm gonna try to put a little bit of, I got overspray right here, a little bit of pastel on that. Lighten that up a little bit. I wonder if I could put a little speckles of white in there. Wish I had the pencil. Honey, do you have Tim's pastel pencil out of any, by any chance? If you're still here. All right, so before I get crazy from a distance, I'm gonna just let this be it. You know, I've got little areas I can work on that are tiny. Pop out highlights that are stronger, go after the whiskers more, and ship it over to where it lives. Well, I'm not shipping it there. Actually, he's getting it from, I think Ryan Barkley's has a bunch of other stuff he's collecting, and he's gonna get it from there. One shipment of other things. Keep my shipping in the States, right? So that's it. It's just a little highlights here and there, going after fur and things like that, making it more tweaked, you know. But that's pretty much it. And I appreciate you guys. All the difference, adding them highlights. Yeah, and they were there, but they were subtle. But you don't have that, huh? Yeah, I got to get. Thank you, honey. I appreciate the compliment, and I'll post this on Facebook, and then from there, I might be doing little tiny things to it, but for the most part, you know, we have the textured fur in here that's soft. We kind of have it here, and it might need a little more inking, just a little bit. If you squint your eyes, I see possibly a little more texture in here. This is looking good. There might be a little bit of highlights being pulled out. This here needs a little more. I could do it right now. It's not really as dark, but I could do this and it won't hurt it because it kind of goes with the other side a little bit. You can change things too. You don't have to go crazy with, like if you see you want something a little darker, it's your painting, you know, just do it. As long as you don't overkill it. Down here, I see a little more separation of the ear with a feather stroke or a dagger stroke. Here, I see a little bit of line work. That's the kind of stuff I'm going to do. You know, just tweaking little tiny things, but I can call it a painting now. This is a painting. And I can get away from having this over me because of other projects. You know what I mean? It's as anybody knows, you know, with the scene at my house this week with the run into the hospital and all that stuff, it wasn't exactly painting time, but so yeah, these little whiskers will pop back out with a sharp point on there, and one more, a curly Q guy up here. They're subtle, so I don't need them to be real white. I just don't want them to be real grainy. And this guy, this one goes right down like that. There's a long one here. So there's some of the widths. It's all on this side, but mainly. One more right here. That's a little too fat, so I'll have to do something about that. Okay, so there she is, the the Lioness that's going to have a British accent. So background's pretty much done, out of focus, and she has color eyes, which you can see. Whoops, that's too close and out of focus. She has the golden, brownish, orangish, orange. Yeah. Thank you. The wife is kind of the same. She left the hospital because she was getting upset with, well, you know, hospitals. They tell her she can't get out of bed. They tell her she can use the bathroom on her own. She was going all around and round. And then she was getting medicines changed on her. She needed to get out of there because they can't treat pneumonia with antibiotics, from what I was told. So the doctor agreed, after she was going to leave anyway, that she could treat herself at home with the breathing treatments and things like that. So the wifey is doing her stuff. She's got the steroids and she's got the breathing machines and she's got a nebulizer. She will not use a nebulizer till the steroids are out of her system because they're horrible. They make you just, eh. Yeah, it will have a signature. I'll probably use my Micron for that. I have a cool new signature, but I have to do it on a different angle. It's more like initials with 22, but Fred might want more of the full name, so I'll do that probably. But thank you guys for popping on. This is called a pop-up video. All right. And I will see you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. This was the project, but I needed to free it up. So I wasn't sure it was going to take this long, an hour and a half. But my plan tomorrow is to do watercolor. No, maybe a little airbrushing, but a watercolor painting. So I'm going to change it up a bit and do something with watercolor and, talking about the things I know about it. I used to teach it and could be fun, if you want to do something a little different. And you can add airbrush to it. I'll have a little side piece that I can show airbrushing on a daisy that I'm working on. But the watercolor painting will be like a landscape or something with a pretty sky and, but it'll be brushwork. Okay. So that's what I'm going to advertise for tomorrow and see how it goes. People love watercoloring. Oh, that's great. Yeah, you look so sharp in that uniform, and you can always watch these videos later. I know you're busy, but hats off to you with the service that you're giving. And I guess that was the parade. Okay, so yeah, catch it after. And like I said, it's going to be watercoloring. Okay, there will be some airbrushing, honey, but mostly a watercolor painting, with paintbrushes and the really good paper, and I'll explain all of it. So it'll be like an airbrush lesson. I might even do a little small watercolor cartoon too. And in the future, I have an animation cartoon cell that I want to do with a background so that it will look real shiny the way the cartoons look when you buy cells at like Disney stores and Warner Brothers, that kind of thing. This will be a cartoon character or something. Okay, so thanks for checking it out, and I will say goodnight, and God bless you guys. Be safe, and I'll see you on the Facebook video, and I'll see you other guys on YouTube with an upload for a different project. All right, thanks a lot. Good night.